So if you can throw some light that, you have seen in 20 years many juniors and, you have yourself done so well. So what is it that people should, one is that if you can highlight some mistakes that commonly are made by young lawyers in the profession, why they hit a ceiling, why they are not able to grow, why they are not able to have a regular income. And also what to do if somebody is trying to get into civil litigation, they have genuine interest in it, how should they go about it?
So it's a very pertinent question you have put. Yes, initially in litigation, money is a constraint. I will not deny that. But then why should you remain in litigation? Why? There are certain things cannot be explained in words, but I can assure you this. When I was in litigation, my entire journey in litigation, so initial days, I was getting these 5 matters I had to do in the Supreme Court, and I prepared the entire night, very enthusiastic, and 2 cases I found, these cases I'm going to get a relief 100%. These 3 cases seem weak, but never mind, at least 2 cases I'll get the result. I appear in the court first thing in the morning in the case which I think I have got a very good case. I've studied all along. And Supreme Court, the way it works is, for admission matters, they have read their files. So the moment you appear and stand up, and even before you say "my lords," even before you complete this 2 words, they'll dismiss and throw your file. So here is a case where I had really worked hard, but it was thrown totally as dismissed. So I lose the case, a case which I thought was strong. So now I'm very upset, I'm very sad. But I can't keep brooding over it, because I have to prepare and go to the next court for the next matter. And next matter anyways I know is the weak case. I'm not going to get a relief in that case. Next matter, coincidentally, for whatever reason in the world, I get the relief. Now my mind is confused. Should I be sad about the other case or should I be happy about this? But I can be neither. I rush to the 3rd court. Life is such. The goods will come, the bads will come. You will be happy in some things, you will be sad in some things. But litigation teaches you life. That irrespective of the good or the bad what comes before you, get ready for the next case. Litigation teaches you life. And litigation, like I said, is something which gives you that power to stand up even as an individual, as one of the 3 pillars of the Constitution, and bring about a change in the country. So unless you're really passionate about litigation, money may be less, but that passion will help you survive. And I can assure you, if you've survived with that passion, money will not be a constraint. You will have your peers who will possibly take up a job in some government organization or a law firm, who today would be earning much more than you. Then you will come to a stage where your parents will start telling you, listen, your friends are earning much more. Then you will come to a stage where now you have to get married, you have to become more responsible. You will cross these phases. You will get depressed. But the day the ball starts rolling, I can assure you that your friends who are earning maybe say 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs at a certain stage will remain there. Your 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs will reach 5 crores, 6 crores. That's a possibility. There are lawyers, I can tell you, and I'm sure you are aware, the senior lawyers who are charging 25 lakhs, including my senior, 25 lakh rupees per hearing. So every time he enters the courtroom and comes out of it, 25 lakh rupees, and that's payable in advance. And his cause list for each day is a minimum of 10 cases. Now do your calculations and tell me how much he's earning each day. So that's the kind of, sky's the limit when the ball starts rolling, and this is civil litigation.
But the ball doesn't start rolling for a lot of people. So what happens there?
That's the passion keeps you alive.
Okay.
It's purely the passion. And passion not to earn money. Don't do this for money. That will not take you anywhere. Do it for the passion of the profession. Do it for the passion of the litigation. When you will appear in the court, when you worked hard with your senior, you worked hard, done your research, you worked the night, you burned the midnight lamps, you come up with judgments which make you win the case, and then you appear with him. He has argued the case. But when you get the relief in the court, when you get an order in your favor, you will be equally happy as your senior. You will equally feel that sense of achievement the way he would. That is what litigation is about.
Great. So, but still, if you can throw some light on, like, what should young lawyers do, because money is also a concern. Like, today, in today's day, and everything is very expensive. Living in a city, especially in a big city, very expensive. They have to pay education loan, and they have to pay very big fees in law school, law college. So there are a lot of concerns around that. So if you can tell, like, how should they go about the economic side of the things?
Litigation, like I said, does not give you money initially. There are only two ways to survive. Either you increase your income or you reduce your expenses. What you do is your decision. You can join firms which will give you litigation experience and will give you money. There are firms which do that. There are firms which will give you money, they may not give you exposure. There are firms which will give you exposure, but they may not give you money. There are various options available for all of you when you enter litigation. Start doing that market research when you are law students itself. Start doing the internships programs, and during that internship programs, figure out what kind of office do you really want to work with. What is more important to you? And accordingly take the call. Your options are available from the very initial stage itself. Choose your options accordingly. I hope that answers.
Sure. So there is one suggestion that we give to our students. You can tell me maybe a little more on this. So what we suggest is that if you are struggling to survive in litigation, one thing you can do, you can start drafting some documents. For example, there are many very busy lawyers and they struggle with some, they have some extra drafting work. They can pass that on to you, and you can draft a few stuff every week, every month. That has helped some students. In some cases, we suggest them you can learn draft contract drafting, and there are some some small businesses and startups will give you some contracts to draft, which keeps you going. Like, if you draft like 5 contracts every month, it at least pays your rent. These kind of things we have seen helping, but if you can throw some more lights around that, if you have seen something working for young lawyers.
See, if I have to young lawyers, not the initial freshers, of course not, because when you come out as freshers, drafting, research, there's still a lot of things you need to learn before you. But maybe 4-5 years down the lane, when you're more experienced, you've got your idea as to how to draft. And of course, LawSikho, I'm sure, has videos which talks about how to do drafting and other things. If you've learned the drafting, then of course this option is very, very viable, because yes, a lot of times we do get restricted, we do get busy. There are a lot of things which requires to be done in the profession. There are matters which are of more urgent nature, and yet there are matters which requires time and drafting. So including me, I'm sure a lot of lawyers do take help of young lawyers who are few years into the profession and want to do this parallel to whatever job they are already doing. So yes, that is a very good option. Initially, they also need help, and what you can really help, which will not only help lawyers, which will also help youngsters, is legal research. Please do a lot of research work. And when we talk about research here, times have changed. When we were initially doing research, we did not have computers, we did not have SCC Online, Manupatra. 20 years back, computers was not a help. It was the library. There are ways to research from the library. Now, what is the difference? Besides, of course, it takes more time. Definitely it takes more time, but you have the time. Please use it. When you start doing research in a library or a book in a library, you tend to read first the head notes, then the contents of the entire judgment, before you realize this judgment is not relevant to you. But the contents have somewhere gotten into your mind, which will help you, if not for this case, maybe some other case. Or at least it has started clarifying your concepts of law with respect to that provision. So you would read and read and read, though it's time consuming, but your concepts of law and your ability to research and ability to read will start improving. Slowly you will realize your language has improved. So when you start drafting, is the same thing what you've been reading will now start automatically showing in your drafting. So that's a great help. For the first 2 years of my career as a lawyer, I think the only place I had seen in the High Court was the High Court library. That's where my senior would send me, and without asking any questions, I would go there. Yes, the other place in the High Court where I would go was the long queue for filing your process fee and other clerical work, because the clerk would also use you as a junior lawyer, because the line for lawyers was small. So the clerk would come to you and make you stand in the smaller line to do his work. So we have seen the record rooms, we have seen the filing procedures, everything is important. That time we did not realize the value. When today's lawyers, young lawyers come in, they are very hesitant to do a lot of these work. They say, why research? Send me to the court. Give me drafting work. I understand your eagerness to learn, but I can also assure you, your ability to draft will improve with doing your research, with reading. Please read. Please spend a lot of time doing your legal research and reading. So that would help, and you can also help as young lawyers, seniors, and you can tell them that, sir, you've made your drafting, I can help you find judgments to that effect, and you can give me money for that. Why not? I would love to do that. But I need to start developing that trust that if you've given me, it's not just the meta tags you put on an Indian Kanun, even I can do that. I need somebody who can actually apply the mind, read the whole judgment and see how exactly relevant it is to the point what I'm looking for. So that is where you can actually earn money, but that needs a lot of time and hard work.
Okay, but it's a good way. You are learning, and
way.
also your knowledge of law is developing, and you're still helping a lawyer and earning.
20 years now, if I look back, I think the most formative years and the most helpful today, what is helping me today, was those first initial 2 years where I saw nothing but the library. It didn't give me money, but it has given me what I know today, which is much more valuable than whatever I would have earned at that day.